And we are back. And here's the man who a lot of people are saying is sort of the spearhead or instigator of this, what would you call it, onslaught on the leader of the NDP, Lorraine Michael, Dale Kirby. Mr. Kirby, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Bill.
So they're calling you everything. Brutus, Judas. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I guess people will call politicians a lot of things. Unfortunately, we live in a time where people don't have a whole lot of regard for politicians, the work they do, and
or for leaders, by the sounds of things, the way this went down.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you that this certainly wasn't intended to be perceived as a move to throw Lorraine Michael out. I mean, we had really hoped to initiate a much-needed discussion, a conversation, and there's certainly no doubt that that's been done, but probably not in the most constructive way possible.
Let me just stop you there before we lose sight of this. Did you and your caucus members attempt to, did you go to Lorraine Michael and say, Lorraine, we need to talk about leadership, let's get together behind closed doors confidentially and see where we're going in terms of a leadership convention, your leadership, other leadership, renewing the party and so on? Was that done, and were you rebuffed and therefore had to send the email?
That has not been done at this point, no. I mean, our intention was not for this to spiral out of control and to become a very public matter. This was our intention was to initiate a discussion. Now, one of the problems that we have in our party is that last year the convention resolved to remove the only mechanism that the party had in its constitution for leadership review. So, barring that, we look to try and initiate a conversation about renewal, directly. And
just repeat that again. Are you saying there's no procedure in your constitution for an automatic leadership review?
No, there's no mechanism. It was stripped from the Constitution.
Jeez, that's bad. Every other party has it. I remember the Liberal Party was constantly plagued by leadership reviews every couple of years after an election.
Yeah, no, that no longer exists. It was passed at our convention last year. So this was a way of, again, initiating a conversation. Maybe we were somewhat naive in believing that someone wouldn't, advise people who should not have known about it. But I think it's unfortunate the way things have unraveled in the last 24 hours. I mean, from my own personal standpoint, having reflected on this morning, I think I would have to say that one of the true tasks of leadership is to diffuse difficult situations rather than to throw gasoline on the fire. And I was very disappointed. I really didn't feel that going on the supper hour news yesterday and talking about betrayal and people not having courage and that sort of thing was serving Lorraine Michael well, or our party, or our MHAs, or our prospects.
Well, the way this is fallen out now, the party could be irreparably damaged by the action and the reaction.
Well, I hope that cooler heads are going to prevail now as we go ahead. I hope people will give us the benefit of a doubt that there was nothing malicious intended here. But, people will have their own opinions, and people have strong opinions. There's no question about that. So,
just listen to this from Ed on the NDP. Give you an idea of how people are thinking. I know you're interested in that because you used your 2,000 doors knocked on and the responses from residents as part of your rationale for what you did. Hey, Bill, says Ed, I find it very shocking that the NDP would collude to dethrone, in quotes, Ms. Michael. It was very long ago that I heard all four of these members tout their leader and how proud of the good work she is doing. Now they want her out. How can you trust them now? They are willing to stab their leader in the back like Julius Caesar. Mark my words, Bill, and here's the point, Dale. Yeah. Mark my words, Bill, this is the beginning of the end of the NDP here in this province, and that's signed by it. I don't know if others share that view, but it's a view out there for sure.
It certainly is, and I guess if you review the text of the letter, you'll see that we went through great lengths to praise the work that Lorraine Michael has done and to recognize recognize the gains that we've made under her leadership. But again, this was purpose here was to initiate a needed conversation. At least I thought it was a needed conversation. Speak for myself, but you know, it's unfortunately it's blown up in the way that it has, and we'll have to deal with it and contain it and move forward as best we can, because this is, you know, politics in this province today is far bigger than whatever issues that exist within the political parties. And
absolutely. Dale, a lot of people, myself included, have admired your intelligence, your positions, your forthrightness on commentary and so on. So I asked this question, having said that. Were you the one who initiated or who cajoled or talked the other caucus members into sending this email?
I wouldn't characterize things in that manner. All of the members of the caucus agreed on the course of action that we chose, and everyone signed the text, signed the letter, and no one did it under duress. And if you've met me in person, I'm not that intimidating.
No, you're not. So. No, you're not. You're you're a gentleman. You're a gentle person and a gentleman. But Dale, you have already said publicly, I believe, that you have had no intention of seeking any leadership at a leadership convention. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can say categorically that that's not going to happen, yeah.
Was this maneuver encouraged or stimulated in any way by the federal side of the party? A lot of people have esteem for Ryan Cleary, for example. Some people are already saying that they think that he might be and perhaps should be leader of the party. Were the feds involved in some way?
No, not at all. And you know what? I mean, the way that, because these questions, at least, you know, in my own perception, had been raised from time to time, either by members of the party or my own constituents or other people that I spoke to, we felt that this was an appropriate way to do a renewal, and there was nothing in that letter that suggested that Lorraine Michael herself wouldn't run for the leadership, because if indeed she did, if she decides that she's open to that and she does it and she wins, that will put to rest a lot of that talk.
Right.
And this certainly left things open to that. So there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. And like I said, it's unfortunate that it's spun out there in a way that really doesn't characterize well the true intent of what it was we were doing.
Right. Well, Dale Kirby, I say this with great sincerity. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to hear your point of view. And I know you sort of wrong-footed yourself on this, and I characterize it as not shooting in the foot, but shooting in the head. I think it's a serious problem for the NDP, but maybe you can pull yourself out of it. Is there anything you would like to end our talk with this morning? Because I did interject with a lot of my own comments.
No, I just would reiterate again that I believe that all of the members of caucus feel that Lorraine has done a particularly good job of leading us to where we are now. I personally feel that there's a need for a renewal process, like I said, either to elect a new leader or to keep the current leader, but to put all of these questions to rest once and for all so that we're strong and united going into the next election.
All right, Dale Kirby, stay tuned, because your leader, Lorraine Michael, is on the line there now. We're about to talk to her, so you may be interested in some of the points that she has to say. As a matter of fact, I'm being told by the control room that we need to clear the decks first, go to a break, and then come back with ample time to talk to Lorraine Michael. So we'll do that now, but I'm sure you'll be interested in what she has to say, Dale.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Dale Kirby, St. John's North, NDP, MHA.